So about ex gratia payments to victim family, although this commission has come to conclusion that death of late Padam Gurung was not homicide amounting to murder, but it was an accidental death. Therefore, there is no liability or duty of the state of Sikkim to pay any amount to the victim's family. However, it is considered that the state of Sikkim, being a welfare state, should pay some reasonable amount as ex gratia payment to the victim's family in the facts and circumstances of the present case. I deem it fit and proper that it will be in the interest of justice and the end of justice will be met in case a reasonable amount of rupees 25 lakh may be paid to the legal heirs of late Padam Gurung as ex gratia payment. कोई जिम्मेदारी छैन किन कमिटीले के भन्छ जो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट छ जो अरू फोरेन्सिक रिपोर्ट छ जो मेडिकल लिगल एक्जामिनेसन को रिपोर्ट छ उसमा जो एभिडेन्स आएको छ कि दिज आर ऑल lacerated wounds भन्छ त्यहाँ and lacerated wounds cannot be cause of any death. So the laceration may be because of variety of reasons that police investigate गर्छ त्यहाँ, but any injury, there was no internal injury in the body and the wounds are all superficial. Lacerated मतलब अलिक त्यो छिल्नुको दाग यस्तो यस्तै छ त्यहाँ. And so cause notice has also been issued to Mr. Manish Kumar Verma regarding asking for an explanation for his failure of supervisory duty during the investigation of this case and regarding further investigation of the case against and taking the case against Mr. Keshav Tatal, owner of the Crossroad. The police department has been asked to immediately initiate necessary action.
So what is the
suspension order has already been issued, and as I told that as per the departmental proceeding whenever it takes place, after an officer is put under suspension, an inquiry officer who is senior to them will be the inquiry officer, we will be appointed, we will be taking out the order in a day or two, and similarly a presenting officer for the case who is at least equivalent or senior to them will also be appointed for presenting the case, and the departmental inquiry, after examining all the aspects of the case, will give their recommendation recommending whether major penalty is to be given or a minor penalty is to be given. That will depend on the findings
So
of
can you
Justice N.K. Jain retired. A judicial inquiry was instituted into the death of late Mr. Padam Gurung, President of Student Representative Council, Government College, Kamrang, Namchi. And Justice N.K. Jain submitted his report to the government yesterday. So one or two housekeeping things that today's press conference we will confine only to the report submitted by Justice Jain. And at the outset, let me read out the findings, the conclusions which he has given. After that, then we will discuss whatever the questions press may be having. So the conclusion recommendation of the commission are as under. Number one, the death of late Padam Gurung, President, Student Representative Council, Government College, Kamrang, Namchi District during the intervening night of 27th and 28th June 2023 was an accidental death. The second recommendation, this was the conclusion. Now the recommendation is that a departmental inquiry should be initiated against Sub-Inspector Mr. Siddharth Subba, the investigating officer of UD case number 22/2023, Police Station Namchi District, and against Deputy Superintendent of Police Ms. Dawa Lamu Pakhring, the then SHO Namchi Police Station, and during contemplated pending inquiry, they both should be suspended immediately. A notice may also be issued or asking for explanation from the then Superintendent of Police, Namchi District, Mr. Manish Kumar Verma, IPS, for failure of his supervisory duty. Number 4, the Senior Superintendent of Police, Namchi District, and or the investigating officer of FIR number 55/2023, Namchi Police Station, may be directed to proceed further and complete the investigation of FIR number 55/2023 under section 188, 336 IPC and section 77 of the Juvenile Justice Act 2015 against Mr. Kesav Thatal, owner of Hotel Crossroad, as early as possible. The final recommendation is that an amount of rupees 25 lakh may be paid to the legal heirs of late Padam Gurung as ex gratia payment. He has given Justice retired N.K. Jain has given detailed reasoning for each and every conclusion and other thing. He has examined 102 witnesses and total 166 exhibits were also put on record, which has been handed over to the state government. So these are the basic findings of the commission and recommendation of the commission. Now the house is open. You can.
So since now the committee has given its series of recommendation on the case, what would be the further action of the state government on this?
We have yesterday itself, the report was, after it was submitted, it was put up before the government for approval of the report and acceptance of the report. The government has approved the report, and immediately after acceptance of the thing, Sub-Inspector Siddharth Subba, who was the investigating officer, and Ms. Dawa Lamu Pakring, the then SHO of Namchi Police Station, have been put under suspension and a departmental inquiry has been instituted. Shortly we will be appointing inquiry officer as well as the presenting officer for taking up this case further. Similarly, an so-called notice has also been issued to Mr. Manish Kumar Verma regarding asking for an explanation for his failure of supervisory duty during the investigation of this case and regarding further investigation of the case against and taking the case against Mr. Kesav Thatal, owner of the Crossroad. The police department has been asked to immediately initiate necessary action.
So what is the basis for the action against Kesav Pathak? On what ground? What does the report says on that?
Juvenile Justice Act. Answer here.
So what are the sections?
Section is 188 and 336 of IPC and section 77 of the Juvenile Justice Act 2015. So the most I think the strongest provision is section 77 of the Juvenile Justice Act. I will read it for you. It gives details for the penalty for giving intoxicating liquor or narcotic drug or psychotropic substance to a child. And it says that whoever gives or cause to be given to any child any intoxicating liquor or any narcotic drug or tobacco products or psychotropic substance except on the order of a duly qualified medical practitioner shall be punishable with rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to a fine which may extend up to 1 lakh rupees.
सर जो पुलिस जो इंक्वायरी ऑफिसर जो था सिद्धार्थ सुब्बा एंड दावा पाकिर उन लोगों के सस्पेंशन कितने इंक्वायरी जब होगा डिपार्टमेंटल इंक्वायरी तब तक सस्पेंशन होगा या कितने ड्यूरेशन के लिए होगा?
The suspension order has already been issued, and as I told that as per the departmental proceeding whenever it takes place, after a officer is put under suspension, an inquiry officer who is senior to them will be the inquiry officer, we will be appointed, we will be taking out the order in a day or two, and similarly a presenting officer for the case who is at least equivalent or senior to them will also be appointed for presenting the case, and the departmental inquiry, after examining all the aspects of the case, will give their recommendation recommending whether major penalty is to be given or a minor penalty is to be given. That will depend on the findings
Sir,
of
can you
the
contextualize in regard to the suspension of two officers? As of what does the committee report says? I mean, where was the fallout, and I mean, क्या lapses हुआ था in during the investigation or the filing of the
आप
case?
बोलोगे मैं पढ़ के बताऊं तुम बताओ डीजी साहब will give the fallouts which have been identified by the
main lapses were the procedural, and they have violated the section 174 CRPC and para 36.2 of Sikkim Police Manual.
Could you repeat
What?
that one more?
174 CRPC.
174 CRPC and para 36.2 of Sikkim Police Manual.
So what does that say?
That basically prescribes about the process of conducting inquest, informing to the magistrate. They have failed to inform the executive magistrate on time, as well as they have failed to act as per prescribed in the manual. That they have to fill up the form, they have to request the executive magistrate, and the executive magistrate and the police has to conduct inquest on the spot. They have failed to conduct inquest on the spot. They have sent the body to the morgue where this inquest was conducted. That is the main grave charges against the both officials. In addition to that, they have not visited the place of occurrence on time. They have visited there late, and they were not sensible to the cause, the occurrence of the person, the death of the person.
Does all this makes this case very strong? I mean, is it taking towards, this case is taking towards like murder, or like it was an accident?
Procedural lapses was not related with the cause of death.
Okay.
Cause of death is one thing, procedural lapses is another thing. The sufficient reasons have been given that the case was of the accidental in nature, no homicidal. They have collected the evidence, oral as well as medical legal evidence, as well as scientific evidence whether how the death can be caused.
सर जी सर जो दो ऑफिसर को तो सस्पेंड किया गया है, मगर ये जो मनीष वर्मा जो देन एसपी है, उनको सिर्फ फोकस मैसेज देने के लिए जेल कमेटी का रिकमेंडेशन है या आप लोग के डिपार्टमेंट की ओर से?
नहीं, ये जेल कमेटी का रिकमेंडेशन है शो कॉज देने का।
कमिटी को रिकमेंडेशन हो हमें आपनो मृत्यु के करे कुछ है ना
Sir, apart from that, on the basis of that report, when the Sikkim police is going to file the charge sheet, and how much time it take to file the charge sheet?
In which case? That
On
is
the-
UD
on
case.
this particular case.
No, there are two cases here. One is UD case that is related with the death of Padam Gurung, and another case is against the Tata. So we will be concluding that UD case as early as possible.
Sir, case of Khatal's name was time and again popping up like in regard to like the alleged murder of Padam Gurung. But what does the committee report says is that case of Khatal will be booked under different sections of the JJ Act and has nothing to do with the incident which involves Padam Gurung.
Yes,
this
that
is
is
what we
in the
understood.
report. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
in the report.
Okay.
कमिटी है कमिटीले की भन्छ जो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट छ जो अरू फॉरेंसिक रिपोर्ट छ जो मेडिकल लीगल एग्जामिनेशन को रिपोर्ट छ उसमें जो एविडेंस आएको छ कि दीज आर ऑल लैसिरेटेड वुंड्स भन्छ त्यहाँ एंड लैसिरेटेड वुंड्स कैनॉट बी कॉज ऑफ एनी डेथ सो द लैसिरेशन मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ वेराइटी ऑफ रीजन्स दैट पुलिस ले इन्वेस्टिगेट गर्छ त्यहाँ बट एनी इंजरी देयर वाज नो इंटरनल इंजरी in the body and the wounds are all superficial. Lacerated मतलब वाले के छिलनों को दाग इस तरह छाती हैं. Explain थोड़ा करो.
Now, all injury found on the body of the Padam Gurung were superficial in nature, and no internal injury was caused due to that external injury. Death was for a different reason, that is asphyxia due to drowning. And that injury can be caused at superficially by drowning away the body, washing away the body. That is the report, medical legal report. That is not my report. Medical legal opinion.
केसमा एउटा एलिगेसन डेट टाइम लागेको थियो कि त्यो टाइमिङ त्यसलाई लिएर पनि एउटा क्वेसन रेज भएको थियो कि नाम्चीमा गराउनु पर्थ्यो गान्तोक ल्यायो त्यतिखेर एउटा त्यतिखेर एउटा फ्यामिलीबाट एउटा एलिगेसन थियो यसलाई चाहिँ कसरी
But that procedural lapse is one part. But whatever procedural lapses had taken place, that is not related with the cause of death. स्पॉट पर जाउनु पर्ने थियो पहिले गएन as per procedure inquest त्यही हुनु थियो but it not related with the cause of death. Cause of death is a different thing, and whether postmortem is conducted at Namchi or Gangtok doesn't make any difference. Here there are medical legal specialists, they might have sent here for a specialized opinion.
डीजीपी सर मगर एक बात ये रिपोर्ट से एक बात पता चला पुलिस का कहीं ना कहीं
इनकॉम्पिटेंसी दिख रहा है ना सर.
तो एज ए डीजीपी आपका भी एक रिस्पांसिबिलिटी बनता है कि पुलिस में ऐसा ना हो फ्यूचर में तो क्या कदम उठाया जाए?
नहीं, इसके लिए हम लोग बराबर जो है ट्रेनिंग सभी लोग को करवाए जाते हैं. जितने मैनुअल है, जब भी इंस्पेक्शन होता है या कोई सीनियर अफसर जाते हैं, हम जाते हैं, एसपी डीआईजी सभी देखते हैं वेदर दैट इज बीइंग फॉलोड और नॉट. ये इंश्योर करने के फिर टाइम टू टाइम हम लोग रिफ्रेशर कोर्स करवाते हैं, ट्रेनिंग करवाते हैं टू रिवाइज ऑल दोस थिंग्स. हो सकता है कि आईओ भूल गया हो, मैनुअल में काफी चीजें लिखी रहती हैं, सीआरपी से काफी चीजें लिखी रहती हैं. So for that purpose, refresher course is being conducted regularly.
Sir, if the irregularities is found by the senior man committee, which would be instituted by the Sikkim police, what would be the further action against two police officers?
Whatever the toughest action is given in the Sikkim police recruitment discipline and appeal rules, that will be taken against the erring officials after the conclusion of the department inquiry. They find conclusion of the department inquiry.
Disciplinary proceeding जो
So is there a specific time you have mentioned to submit the report to the committee?
No, अहिले disciplinary committee अहिले constitute हुन्छ, अहिले त report भर्खर मात्रै आएको त्यहाँ. So the immediately both the officers have been put under suspension. SP लाई so cause notice explanation को लागि गइसकेको छ त्यहाँ. Now there is a procedure उसको थ्रू नि त्यहाँ disciplinary committee एउटा constitute हुन्छ. And उसमा who will be the inquiry authority, who will be the presenting authority त्यो decide भएर त्यहाँ. Generally it takes few months to conclude the thing because evidenceहरू पुरा उसमा पनि लिनुपर्छ, because the disciplinary proceeding में पनि जो penalty हुन्छ, major penalty may lead up to the dismissal of the officer also, termination of the services. So many provisions are there. So depending on finding की हुन्छ जो discipline inquiry authority को, उसको basis में जो competent authority हुन्छ, they will take a final decision on the thing. अब इसमें एक जना गस्टेड ऑफिसर पनि छ, उसमा फेरि एसपीएससी लाई पनि कंसल्ट गर्नुपर्छ. त्यो प्रोसेसहरु त्यो हुन्छ, त्यो सब चल्छ. That may take time, but government of Sikkim will leave no stone unturned to see to it that the कोही aspect यसमा कि भन्छ बाँकी नबसो, सबै जो हुन्छ एज पर कानुनको हिसाब से जति कारबाही छ त्यो हुन्छ.
So one of the committee's recommendation is to provide ex gratia of 25 lakh to the kith and kin of Padam Gurung. State को इसमा ठीक के sir, what is the decision state will be taking?
I will read out that portion so that you understand the mind of the commission also. So about ex gratia payments to victim family, although this commission has come to conclusion that death of late Padam Gurung was not homicide amounting to murder, but it was an accidental death. Therefore, there is no liability or duty of the state of Sikkim to pay any amount to the victim's family. However, it is considered that the state of Sikkim, being a welfare state, should pay some reasonable amount as ex gratia payment to the victim's family in the facts and circumstances of the present case. I deem it fit and proper that it will be in the interest of justice and the end of justice will be met in case a reasonable amount of rupees 25 lakh may be paid to the legal heirs of late Padam Gurung as ex gratia payment. कोई जिम्मेदारी छैन किन नेचुरल डेथमा कोही उसमा जवाबदेही कसैको छैन, बट सिक्किम बिङ ए वेलफेयर स्टेट, the judicial commission has recommended कि यो दिनुपर्ने and the state government has accepted his recommendation and 25 lakh rupees हामी त्यहाँ उहाँको आमा बाबालाई सरकारबाट प्रोसिजर स्याङ्सन हुनुमा अलिक दिन लाग्छ, 2-4-10 दिन, उसमा हामीले यो उहाँको आमा बाबालाई दिने.
So wonder when Mr. Keshav will be arrested.
अब त्यो अब प्रोसिजर को कुरा हो, अब डेट त तोक्नु सक्दैन कि when he will be
Whether
arrested.
he is arrested or
He will be arrested.
having been arrested.
That is the legal process, and that should not be disclosed at this forum. What we are going to do or what we are not
एरेस्ट
doing.
हुने अगाडि उहाँले सरेन्डर गर्यो भने यस्तो भन्ने कुरा आउँछ नि.
But that legal process.
सरेन्डर त तब हुन्छ जब मान्छे एब्सकन्डिङ हुन्छ नि, त्यहाँ मान्छे त एब्सकन्डिङ छैन. यसो एब्सकन्डिङ छ भने त्यहाँ कोर्टमा गएर सरेन्डर गर्छ कि हुन्छ, त्यहाँ जो फिल्महरुमा देखिबस्छ तपाईहरुले त्यहाँ. So since he is available, after following due processes on the recommendation, if arrest will be necessary because अब उसमें जो सेक्शन को ग्रेविटी हेरेर required will be done.
सर पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट तपाईले भन्नुभयो नि ग्याङटोकमा मात्रै भएको कि एनी काइन्ड अफ मेडिकल इन्भेस्टिगेसन वाज इट टेकन आउटसाइड अफ द स्टेट?
When outside a state, सिर्फ हिस्टोपैथोलॉजी टेस्ट छ, ते आरएफएसएल में भएको थियो, बाहिर कहीं गएको छैन.
So if that was done within the state, why did the state take so long to actually declare that this was not an unnatural? It was already the postmortem report was already.
Postmortem report in the beginning they have not given the cause of death. After the histopathological test, the doctor has opined the cause of death. That have taken 1 week, 10 days like that. After that it was clear.
So was it not right to conclude at that point of time itself that it was not an unnatural death?
No, for us we were conducting investigation separately. Now government has appointed one man judicial commission under the Judicial Inquiry Act. So their report, they have that is their findings.
Two different process छ नि त्यहाँ. एउटा पुलिसको इन्क्वायरी त आफ्नो उसको माथि सरकारले जुडिशियल इन्क्वायरी कमिसन कन्स्टिट्युट गर्यो. त अब जहिलेसम्म जुडिशियल इन्क्वायरी कमिसनको रिपोर्ट आउँदैन भने केही भन्नु फेरि ठिक छैन. नाउ रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिसको रिपोर्ट आइसकेको छ, उसको बेसिसमा जो रेकमेन्डेसन छ उसको माथि कारबाही चल्दैछ र शीघ्र अरू जो पनि रिक्वायरमेन्ट छ हुन्छ.
Public strongly believes it was a murder rather than an accident. Now police department को लागि चाहिँ यो challenge, how will you कसरी trust build गर्नुहुन्छ public माथि कि it was an accident if it was?
For the confidence purpose that one man judicial commission was instituted because that was hue and cry, and they were not trusting the police for that, but findings are more or less same.
So basically sir अब 174 CRPC मै जान्छ अगाडि अब इन्भेस्टिगेसन.
वो तो कोर्ट में जान्छ नि. This is for the government, and that is the legal process. So that will be submitted in the court.
That police investigation and court को आफै
Yeah, अब independent छ.
So यसमा चार्ज शीट त अहिले फाइल भएको छ.
भन्ने चार्ज इसमें भएको छ.
Thank you so much.
नागालैंड स्टेट टियर 200 गोल्ड मंथली लॉटरी पहिलो पुरस्कार 1 करोड 50 लाख ग्यारेन्टीड. टिकट मूल्य 200 रुपैयाँ. पहिलो पुरस्कार केवल बिक्री भएका टिकटहरूबाट.